Good evening, and welcome to the Twiggs County Board of Education meeting. Thank you to our in-person and online communities and stakeholders for joining us this evening. It is my pleasure to call the Twiggs County Board of Education meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, December 14th, 2021, and the time is now 6:09 p.m. May we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. At this time, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Meeting date and time, Tuesday, December 14th, 2021.
I make the motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Second motion.
Motion has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear, seconded by our Vice Chair, Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raising your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. At this time, board members, I would like for you to review once again, as we have received our packet in advance, approval of minutes for November 9th, 2021, BOE regular session.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion to approve the minutes for November the 9th, 2020, the Board of Education regular session.
Motion been properly made by Ms. King. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any discussion? I have one discussion on the floor. I want to notate Dr. Bullard that at 6:01, Vice Chair Rouse was not in attendance. However, he is in the minutes for motions and seconds. I want to assure that we
It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom down here.
got it. We'll
16.
place them together for our viewing. Motion been properly made again, and second. Is there any other discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye or raising your hand. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Ms. Stokes. At this time, I'd like for District 2 and State Delegate, Ms. Teresa Blackshear, to give us an ethics statement.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest scheduled before us or appearing on our proposed agenda? Seeing none, Mr. Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you, Madam Blackshear. At this time, we'll have board member comments and remarks. And we'll start with District 1. Our Vice Chair, if you have any comments.
I'd like to say this is the season of Christmas, and I just like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
District 2, Ms. Blackshear.
I would piggyback off Mr. Rouse. I'd like to say greetings to everyone, and I hope everyone have a happy, safe holiday season.
Thank you, Ms.
And we
Blackshear.
appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you, Ms. Blackshear. District 3, Ms. Rhonda King.
Good evening, everyone. That's all that I have.
Good evening. All right, District 4, Ms. Shirley Stokes.
Ho, 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 Santa Claus is coming to town.
Thank you, Ms. Stokes. All right. Happy holidays from the Board of Education. We appreciate all of you, all that you do. Superintendent comments and remarks. Dr. Mac Bullard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening to everyone on tonight. And I echo the board members and wish everyone a happy holidays. We're coming to the end of our fall semester, and as you all know, this Friday, December 17th, will be early dismissal for our students. They'll be headed home around the 12 o'clock noon hour. So parents, please make sure that you have supervision prepared for your child at home at that time, because Friday will be a half day for students. On this Thursday night, December the 16th, we're going to celebrate the holiday season at 6 p.m. at the Twiggs County Middle High School Gymnasium. Our Fine Arts Department will host their winter concert, and it's going to feature, as you see on the screen, the JES Chorus, the Twiggs County Middle High School Chorus, piano, as well as the Twiggs County Middle School Beginner Band and the Twiggs County High School Wind Ensemble. So we want everyone who is available to come out to Twiggs County Middle High School and celebrate the holidays with us as our Fine Arts Department sponsors their holiday concert. And lastly, our students will return to school on Wednesday, December the 5th, 2022. And again, we wish all of our students, our parents, our staff and families, and community members.
January.
What did I say?
January.
January the 5th, 2022, and we wish everyone a very safe holiday and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Without further ado, with our lengthy agenda tonight, we will move expeditiously. If I should mess up, if I should overlook or have an oversight, please correct me, Mr. Vice Chair, Superintendent, to my left and to my right. But we will move along. We will not rush, Dr. Bullard. But yeah. At this time, we will enter into our business agenda. Business agenda item A, Reach Scholar Signing Ceremony. Information item being presented by Assistant Principal of the Middle High School, Ms. Renata Woodley. Good evening, Ms. Woodley.
Good evening. Board Chair Harris, Vice
Madam.
Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Bullard, faculty, community, and stakeholders. Good evening.
Good evening.
As the District Reach Coordinator and AP of Twiggs County Middle High School, I am proud to present the 2021 Reach Scholars. These students represent the best of what Twiggs County has to offer. So before I go any further, let me tell you who we are. The mission of the Twiggs County Public Schools is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally while generating excellence. One team, one goal. All of our Reach Scholars are 8th grade students at Twiggs County Middle School, and I know they will flourish and do well in this program. When I call your name, please come take a seat at the front table. Azalyn Brown. After high school, Azalyn plans to attend the University of Georgia or Fort Valley State University. He would like to continue his basketball career and his college, and he plans to major in business administration. Zaquadre Coley. After graduation, Zaquadre plans to attend college and major in science to become a scientist or a doctor to unlock the world's greatest mysteries and improve lives. Jemiah Glover. Jemiah plans to attend Valdosta State University and major in nursing.
Awesome.
Vashawn Glover. Vashawn would like to attend a university and major in engineering and math, and he is inspired to be an entrepreneur.
All right.
Alasia Hyde. Alasia plans to attend Florida A&M University and major in biology to become a successful pediatric surgeon. Not present with us, Nayeli Mendoza Ginger. She's still undecided on a college, but she plans to become an FBI. And now I would like to discuss the obligations and responsibilities of REACH scholars. REACH scholars, I would like to walk you through your obligations and responsibilities. As a REACH scholar, you will be expected to maintain good grades, attendance, and behavior. Specifically, the contract you are about to sign requires that you maintain a 2.5 average in core courses. If your grades fall below a 2.5, you will work with your academic coach to explore ways to improve your grades. Remain drug and crime-free. Meet with your assigned mentor at least twice per month. Meet with your academic coach at least once per month. Attend all REACH events, meetings, and programs. Follow your school's code of conduct and behave in a positive way both in and out of school. Engage in activities to prepare for college. Graduate from high school. Enroll and graduate from college. If you successfully complete REACH and graduate from high school, you will be awarded a $10,000 scholarship for up to 4 years of college. $2,500 per year that can be used at any Georgia Hope eligible 2- or 4-year college. We have many schools who have pledged to match the $10,000, and schools like Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, and Georgia Southern have all pledged a double match for a total of $30,000. If you move out of the Twiggs County public school system into another REACH school system, you will be able to continue as a REACH scholar and will continue to remain eligible for the scholarship. If you move into a non-participating REACH school system before you graduate, you will not be able to maintain your scholarship. Now I will ask the parents to please come and stand behind your child. Before we sign, please signify "I will" as I administer the following charges. REACH scholars, will you commit to keeping good grades, attendance, and behavior, to meet with your mentor and academic coach, and to graduate from high school and college? Say "I will." REACH parents and guardians, will you commit to supporting your students as they progress through the program, to attend REACH events, meetings, and programs, to contact your child's academic coach or the REACH coordinator if there are issues you believe should be addressed, and to make sure that we have correct contact information for you and your child? Community members, it is incumbent on us individually and as a community to affirm our willingness to support these REACH scholars in their journey to adulthood. Will you commit to supporting these REACH scholars with your time, talent, and treasure as they progress through the REACH program and into college and careers?
We will.
Thank you. These commitments are serious but necessary for these scholars to reach their potential, leading to very bright futures. It is now time for you and your parents to sign your contracts. Please open the folder. If you would flip the page and pass the pens to your parents. Parents, just your signatures are fine. Thank you so much. Congratulations, Reach Scholars, parents, and guardians. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 2021 Reach Scholars.
All right. Mr. Watkins got enough pictures? All right. Listen, that's worth celebrating. Congratulations to each of you on behalf of the board, and congratulations, parents. Brag on your scholar. Tell everybody, you know, my baby a Reach Scholar. All right. We're gonna keep this train moving. Business agenda item B, Beacon Assessment Update. Information item being presented by our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Griffin Stewart. Good evening, Dr. Griffin Stewart.
Good evening. Good evening, Board Chair Harris.
We'll see you, madam.
Is that on? So let me start over. Good evening, Board Chair Harris.
Good evening.
Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Dr. Mac Bullard, all of our parents and visitors in person and online. I bid you again good evening. It brings me great pleasure to share information on the DRC Beacon. But before I can share that information with you, I must share that we are a district with a vision and a mission. Our vision is generating excellence, one team, one goal, and our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. What is DRC Beacon? DRC Beacon is an online interim assessment that illuminates student learning needs and measures student progress throughout the year. It allows grade 3 through 8 educators to target instruction and make informed decisions. Let me share some interesting facts about the DRC Beacon. Creator of the DRC Beacon is the same interesting facts about the DRC Beacon is the creator of the DRC Beacon is the Data Recognition Corporation, and it is the same company that creates and publishes the Georgia Milestones. The DRC Beacon started in 2020, 2021, so this is the second year for the administration of the DRC Beacon. Again, it assesses grades 3 through 8 in reading and math. The cost is free for all Georgia schools, and it's a formative assessment, which means that it's penalty-free for schools, and teachers can use the assessment. It's truly what it is, an informative tool to help students get closer to mastering those Georgia standards. And last but not least, what's most important is that it allows teachers to personalize instruction for each student. The DRC Beacon assessment uses an adaptive model approach. So what is an adaptive model approach? Because the test adapts to the student's level, results have more relevant data in shorter time. Fewer test items are needed to get results. Reports come back with specific data identifying what support a student needs. This means more time for instruction and learning. The adaptive test engine selects items based on the student's previous responses. The test determines students' level of performance with fewest possible items. It also shows domain level, performance level, and growth throughout the year. It is able to show performance at, above, or below grade level, comparative information, and which content standards need additional attention at the group level. The group reports with a predicted range of performance on the end of year state assessment. So what a great tool for our teachers and students to use this year, because it lets us know how close students are to mastering those standards. And again, it's a familiar online platform, which means that it's a familiar platform. We've been using the Georgia Milestones platform for years. And so again, they created this assessment. Another unique feature about the DRC Beacon assessment is that it's innovative, interactive suite of reports. The DRC Beacon's interactive reporting suite allows educators to dig deeper into a student's performance with dynamic, on-demand presentations that adjust based on user input. The robust reporting solution allows educators to make more carefully designed instructional interventions based on benchmark data. Another unique feature about these reports is leaders can look from the leader level, students can look from a level that they understand, and then teachers also have a feature in there where they can actually access reports for each student, and it will give recommendations on what students need at their current level, but it will also give growth recommendations. The DRC Beacon is measure student performance and growth. So the report provides a scale score, a performance, and a growth progress and growth adequacy. If we continue to look at the sample student report, we will see that the report, once students take that, they will see where they are in terms of the ELA standards and domains for math as well, and they will see whether they're prepared, near target, or support needed. So what is our Twiggs County School Beacons journey? This is the journey that we've been on. Principals received training on the DRC Beacon in a November principals meeting. So they had an opportunity, principals, to navigate through the information for the DRC Beacon. 3rd through 8th grade teachers were trained on the DRC Beacon at a PLC meeting on November the 4th. And so teachers had an opportunity to look at the information for the DRC Beacon. They also had a chance to engage with the student tools and the practice test and the platform itself. Students, they had an opportunity to practice with their online tools. They had an opportunity to practice the assessment. And then they also viewed an orientation on how to take the DRC Beacon assessment. We moved it down to communicating to parents. So our district family engagement facilitator communicated with parents about the assessment and the why behind it. Video explanation placed on our TWIGS website, and parent brochure was sent home with students. This assessment was given on November the 9th for math for 3 through 8, and November 10th was ELA, with November 12th being a makeup day. So where are we right now? What is our here and now? The distribution of DRC results. Principals had an opportunity to analyze this data on November the 30th with the task of analyzing the data with teacher teams. So teacher teams have received their students' individual reports, and they have been analyzing those reports. And so where we are right now is students actually seeing their reports, setting goals, and we're sending home those results so parents can have an opportunity to see that user-friendly report and just how close students are. And then, of course, conducting those parent meetings. The goal is for us to take this same assessment again, so when students see where they are right now, in February, they'll know exactly how close they are to passing those areas on the Georgia milestones, where they're at beginning learner, where they're at developing learner, proficient, that's where we want everyone to be, and whether they're at exemplary. And so that's level 4. So are there any questions?
I do like the part where it said there's no set limit that they can take the test, the exam, right? They can do it, I read on like for 3 times per year, at least.
And then additionally, they can also do testlets, so that's something that I plan to teach the principals how to do, because it's something that Ms. Jenkins and Mr. Harris can set up for their teachers. So instead of taking the full assessment, they can do small snapshots of different sections that they would like to administer. So that would be a next step, a goal that I have for principals to do, is be able to use that platform in the ways that they can use it with their teachers. And it can also be considered like a mini assessment that they can do. So that's our next step, our next work.
And I'm glad that it's aligned with the milestone and with the standards.
It's
So
beautiful.
I think it's great.
Are there any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Griffin Stewart. Business agenda item C. This is the Operations Department Projects Mid-Year Update. The information item by Mr. Bacon. Good evening, Mr. Bacon.
Good evening, Chairman Harris, Vice Chairman Rouse, Superintendent Bullard, and board members, and all of our constituents and stakeholders, both here and at home watching virtually. I am very pleased to present to the board and the community the district investments and improvements that have undergone, and we're going to call it, since April 1, the Bullard era. So since the Bullard era, what have we been doing? So, what is our mission and vision? Generating excellence, one team, one goal, and I will take a moment to pause to say that in operations, while I may stand here, it is not me alone. There's Broderick, there's Mr. Washington, there's all of the ladies on the custodial and gentlemen on the custodial staff, there's finance, and all of us have to work together to make this extra work happen, and they're all an integral part of what I do and what we see every day. So I can't forget them as we're going through this. So I do want to say in operation, it is definitely one team, one goal, all the time. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. What are the aims are?
Reinvent.
What are the aims of the district goals and investments? To rebrand, reinvest, re-energize, and re-image the district in a new way that all of our stakeholders can appreciate. Why invest? The district investments are about recapturing the Cobra pride and school spirit among all Twiggs County public school stakeholders. These projects will be used to reinforce the current branding strategy, implement safety and security measures, and improve the overall appeal of the school district to the community. That cute little, I just want to say that cute little boy is one of our students. So, and the little girl behind him. So, district HVAC upgrades. We had several district HVAC upgrades this year. The first would be the server room. As part of our audits that's conducted by the finance, one of the things that we had to do was make sure that our servers were in conditioned space. So right behind the board is our main server room here, and we had to put in a mini split unit to make sure that it was cool at all times, and it had to be on its own separate circuit and to protect the servers in that room. Next, this new boardroom had an HVAC upgrade, and also with that HVAC upgrade is a 25 package unit, and with that comes ionic air purification, so we have air purification in here as well. Our schools and this room here in the boardroom. Next, district HVAC upgrade. The 600 building, we had an issue with the uniforms molding, so the first thing we wanted to do was to tackle that problem. So we started with getting one unit to handle that area. Once we got into it, that building had in its main trunk line an excessive amount of black mold. And as we know, black mold is very dangerous, especially to someone that has allergies. It's rough to breathe for asthmatics. So we could not clean or mitigate it. So we were either going to have to replace all of the ductwork in the 600 building, but a better plan was to go with mini split ductless units, which are on the walls. So that's where we went with that. So in the middle of that project, we had to stop, turn off the air, and do this project here. This project is going to be talked about a little bit more by Ms. Miriam Reardon, as it is being funded out of our CARES 2 money. So she'll explain that for your approval this evening. Cobra Stadium. There have been significant upgrades to Cobra Stadium this year, and most of that has to do with branding. We are the school of the black and gold, but everything in Twiggs County is trimmed in green. One of the things Dr. Bullard and I walked, he's like, well, I don't see anything that's Cobra related. I don't see anything. So we were able to get with the principal and the staff, come up with some branding ideas, put some signage up. The press box was in bad need of repair, so we redid the roof, the painting, we put in drywall, and most importantly, we added a new stadium sound system. So now when we have events, we won't have a little speaker for a big stadium. We have an entire sound system that is capable of producing sound on and off the field. We have wireless and Wi-Fi capability in that sound system so that we can do programs properly. It is well secured with racks and boxes, so if you have an opportunity, I'd love for Mr. Bassley to take you up there and show you how it works. Also, we were able to fix our scoreboard was working, but we upgraded it with new signage and a new digital brain so that it will work better and look better. So we're really proud of those and the branding. It looks like it's home of the Cobras, and we really appreciate that this year. Twiggs County Media Center. Once again, not only is this one that a project that went along with rebranding ourselves as far as the color, but it was also utilitarian. The carpet was not usable anymore, not serviceable anymore. We couldn't clean it anymore. The spots were unsightly. So this was a great opportunity to go ahead and get a carpet. We went with a carpet tile so that if something spills, we can just take up that one tile and put down a new one to make it a lot easier for us to maintain. We got a color scheme which has blacks and grays and kind of goes with about 2 years ago, we painted the soffits in there gold. We added some gold curtains. We repainted it, so it looks a lot better. Those of you who have been in there can see that it's a fresh new look with the carpet, so we really do appreciate the way that looks, and we're really proud of that. School speed zone signals. This has been a long time coming. One of our board members, as well as other stakeholders, have mentioned about the speeds on Bullitt Road in the morning, especially during JES, when JES is letting its kids into schools. It's been quite dangerous. And these signs are already working, even for myself. I find that I was traveling at a rate of speed that was unsafe. A lot of us have, as you can see. So these are really good investments. We're looking forward to putting some on the Watson end soon. So we're really proud of those, and we can see that I see the people stopping, and the sheriff as well as the Jeffersonville police have staked out there, and they've caught a few people and given them tickets. I asked Chief about us getting some of that ticket money, Mr. Chairman, so we can all share in the profits. This is a project that we're currently putting the finishing touches on, the Jeffersonville Elementary School Media Center. It was a purple, and I don't even remember, Ms. Jenkins, how that purple even looks now. It was purple and didn't have the school colors, which are blue and gold. So we chose the colors that went, a new color scheme. We put in new LED lighting, new carpet, and we're gonna get new shelving, oak wood shelving that had been surplus by the Bibb County School District. It is our hope to have that done during the break, so we're working very hard and coordinating with them to see if we can get that accomplished. If not, it'll be first couple weeks in January. I do want to thank all of the ladies on the custodial staff that packed all of those books. They came in 2 hours early for about 2 weeks and packed up the media center for us. So they did a fantastic job. Just want to let everybody know that they're out there doing more than they need to make this stuff happen. So hopefully go by there and see it's really beautiful, and the carpet looks really nice. A central office. In the central office, we added some new carpet to our major areas, the hallway, and a lot of that has to do with if we put carpet in the entrance and then you look down the hall, it's burgundy, that's not a good look. So new carpet in the entrance, new conference table and chairs, new paint on the walls, and office furniture to accommodate our new staff members. And we can always see now that we have a more workable space now. We were working in here, other people working in there. We can have multiple meetings as department heads, so it's already working in our favor. And even tonight, the board chair mentioned that we're having more space out because of COVID. The new boardroom and professional learning center, the old computer lab was converted into a multi-purpose space that will be used for the board of education meetings as well as professional learning, like it was today with all of us in here. We can accommodate 20, 25 people easily. In here, you can see the new LED lights, new carpet, platform for the BOE, as well as the technology for streaming and the cameras were all part of that, the furnitures and the fixtures and ionic air purification so that we can be extra safe when we have to. So this room here was done this year, and I think we did a good job, and the utilitarianism of the room is great. We're using this room often from everything from Kelly services, so it gives us not to interfere with the school level. We used to have to go and use school level facilities and put them out, and now that's not necessary as we have our own space to conduct business. roofing repairs. As you know, as part of our ongoing SPLOS, we have an old roof system, and we're trying to keep that up. So when a leak happens, rains happen, we try to get on those as quickly as possible. We try to not let any leaks stay more than 30 days, and that's really kind of dependent on our vendor, but we really are adamant about keeping the roof system as tight as possible. Over the break, we will be doing some roofing repairs, some areas that we need to, and to make sure, one of the things, a poor roof with wet insulation causes mold and other problems. Next slide. I know, we're working through it. I can continue. I'll continue. If you look on your slide presentation, board members, the thermal roofing scan, one of the things that the superintendent was wanted us keenly to focus on is air quality and allergens and the health of kids in the building. So we did several things to see where we were as a district. One of the first things was a thermal roof scan so that we can see where the wetness was in the roof, and that will also pinpoint where we might need to do our maintenance and look at our roofing in the future. So at JES, we had about 100 square feet of affected roof. That's almost nothing. That's a spot here, a spot there, and we're gonna go ahead and get that. That's easily taken care of. But at Twiggs County Middle High School, we had 1,450 square feet of effective area. 60% of that has to be in the outer buildings and the 600 building. We all know through numerous presentations and even your own personal walkthroughs that the 600 building has been very difficult for us to maintain, and we need it because of the space that it provides for our athletic and ROTC. So we are managing and spending the money necessary to make that a safe and habitable place, as well as some of the other outer buildings, the restrooms and things like that. So we're gonna get that and bid that out because it will be so much. And see where we are cost-wise. But these roof scans allow us now, it may not be leaking, and that's the thing about where does the mold come? It's not leaking, so we can actually see a tile. It's just wet and saturated. So, and that's even worse because it's just sitting there. It's not releasing itself. So we're making sure that we take care of that. JAS exterior painting. I think this is one of it was one of the least expensive things that we did this year, but I think it had the biggest impact. It had the gray concrete overhang, and we painted it a stucco kind of white, I guess. And the blue letters, I think this looks better from the road, and we did all the trim around the building. I think it just says, you know, welcome. We're here. It says we're here. Even though I'm not Gary, so I took those pictures. Maybe if I had, you know, better lighting, you can see. But when you drive by, it says school, and that's what we want. Of course, we've been involved as a district and as a district team in the Old Jeffersonville High School site and assisting with the Monument project with stakeholders. So we, as a district, you have invested by cutting down the trees and clearing the site, and we're maintaining that site. I think, you know, being here, we never really looked at it before, but now it doesn't look like an eyesore when we drive by. It looks like it's part of something that we maintain. So I'm very proud of that. So we put up some safety signage, and we're still assisting in that project. At Twiggs County Middle High School, we upgraded all of the hallways with LED lights, so it's a lot better lit, as well as we just repainted the spirit stripe to a more of a black and old gold. So it's more of a branding. It's more of an orangey color, Principal Harris. Now it's the color of the school. So we like the way that looks. So that was a really good upgrade. And now we can see the clean better. As I mentioned once before, one of the things that the superintendent was keen on was indoor air quality, allergens, how safe and healthy are our kids in our building, are kids getting sick coming to school. And there was a whole big special about kids getting sick in buildings, whether it's lead in pipes, poor air, or asbestos. So we had a comprehensive test done. And as you can see, I'll just tell you about the area. We had 2 classrooms at JES that was elevated. Now, if you look at the spore count, it's in the thousands. A dangerous spore count is in the hundreds of thousands, but it's elevated compared to the outside air. So what we did the first time, when we got this report, we cleaned. The second time, we had them come back for those 2 rooms, and we are going to get a professional cleaning over the break, and we're cleaning and monitoring that. We also changed all of our filters and cleaned all of our HVACs. Yesterday, I presented to the superintendent and the cabinet about doing all of a comprehensive duct cleaning to JES and over the next couple weeks. So that is in our plans, and a comprehensive duct cleaning can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000, but it's never been done at JES since its inception. The high school doesn't have the same kind of duct. It works on the cooling tower. It's a ducting system. It's totally different and wouldn't need that kind of comprehensive cleaning like the forced air system that we have over at JES. So it's 2 different systems. Why just JES? No, it's just a different type of system. And when we went in and we redid the high school, we did all the major trunk lines brand new when we did the high school. So we're looking forward to letting you know what happens with that. I've also been asked to talk about some of the other things that we did that were student focused. And as you can see, Mr. Stackhouse is there, and the board graciously approved over $40,000 for new instruments for the band, and there they are, and they're being used. The Marching Cobras did an excellent job during the football season. They were they were small but mighty, and we really appreciate having Mr. Stackhouse back. Also appropriated this year was monies for the Lady Cobra softball team to get uniforms. I love the new uniforms. They look sharp. We look sharp. And next year, we're going to definitely win more games out there. And this included helmets, jerseys, home and away jerseys, pants, belts, and visors. So our young ladies are getting the equipment as well as bats, gloves, because a lot of our kids don't have that. They're first-time softball players. So we're providing those things. You're providing those things, and the community are providing those things. And of course, the Cobra football team received new uniforms this year. We're very proud of them. Hats, jerseys, helmets, pants. They received a full complement, and this is over 7 years. We've just been adding uniforms as we go. But this year, Coach was able, with the funding that he received, to give a comprehensive, total new look to the Cobra football team. Track lights. Healthy Twigs, as well as we use the track for practice, and the rec department uses the track. People go out there and use the track. It got really dark out there quick, especially now. We've added some track lights around the track for safety reasons, because there are quite a few users out there. So if you go out there now, we have track lights. We're looking to see how well they do. Georgia Power is working on this. This averages about $60 a month for us to add those lights. So that's a small pittance when you think about us increasing the usability and safety of the track. So that was very easy for us to do. The project cost and funding, board members, you should have a sheet that looks like this in your packet. It wasn't initially in the initial packet. And what this does is outline all of the projects that we talked about, the funding source in which it came, and the cost that we paid for that. Once again, we are very proud of what we've been able to do as a team, facility-wise, and for our students, making them safe and healthy this year. We hope you appreciate and like what we've done. So with that, Dr. Bullard, if there are any questions or concerns.
I would just like to add one thing with the splash, because the community is what helped us got the splash. Is it any way that we can run something in the paper thanking the community for helping, with our upgrades, so they will know what we're doing with the e-splash?
Absolutely.
With the funds, and then they'll be supportive of us next election for e-splash.
Yes, ma'am. I also think that by law, isn't that right, Mr. Austin, you'll be doing some sort of update with SPLOS in the paper? Yes. And then we can just add the projects that went along with that. Would that be satisfactory?
That'll be great.
This would be for 2001.
Ma'am.
It would be for 2021.
These projects?
You just got through.
Yeah, these projects start April 1 to now.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Business agenda item D, October financial report. This is an information item being presented by our Assistant Superintendent CFO, Mr. James Austin. Good evening, Mr. Austin.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Board Vice Chair, board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents in person and virtually. I am presenting information about the month-end report for October 2021. Our financial status always supports our mission and vision of Twiggs County Public Schools, which our mission is to generate excellence, one team, one goal, and we have a purpose to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. Flow deficits that take place in the first quarter of each fiscal year, July through September. We also noticed that in October, it really is the end of the cash flow problems in Twiggs County. This is very common in most districts, and we've seen this historic now as well, due to tax revenue coming in November, December, and January. What you see before you in the general fund column, the first one on the left, if you notice on our local taxes, we only taking in 1% of what we have budgeted for our taxes, and only 14% total of what we have allocated in our budget for revenue. So it shows again and confirms that we're still awaiting our tax revenue dollars. I have also allocated a line item for the tax anticipation note, the TAN that we received an amount of $500,000, which we paid off last Friday, and we saved $1,000.22 of interest. So we're very excited to pay that off early and get that out the way before December 31st. Also, accrued taxes, we have that money in the bank. However, it's not reported on the current financial statements. It's on last year's financial statements. That is an accounting procedure that has been written into our governance, and we follow that. But I also want to just make mention that that funding is taking place. It's just not reported in this current month report. As we look at expenditures, we're pacing pretty well here, and I want to note that the state is requiring us to show encumbrances and also our expenditures. Encumbrances meaning anything that we anticipate to be expended that is awaiting an approval, or it just has not happened as of yet. So we still count that as a liability that we're awaiting. We have expended 38% of our budget, and we are 33% into our fiscal year. We always pace about 5 to 6% more than what we are actually in our fiscal year, so that is quite normal for us. That's been our pace, and that has been quite consistent. As we move to the right to debt service fund, At this particular month report, we have not paid out anything as relates to our general bond obligations. Special revenue funds, of course, this is anything related to federal programs, Title I, Title II, and et cetera. At this particular month-end report, we have not started reporting any information about this. The budgets were not approved in a consolidated app at that time. Capital project funds, we are not doing anything extensive such as a new building or anything that will cause a capital outlay to take place at the state, so there's no budget item for that. School nutrition funds, 34% of the revenue has came in, and we've expended 36% has been expended, and we're 33% into the budget. This is the format that we will continue to use going forward because now we're required to report all these funds as they are presented to you all going forward. Are there any questions, concerns about the month-end report for October?
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say that I am glad that we got that Tandy note paid off early.
Yes, ma'am, we are too. Yes, ma'am.
I was worried about that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Business agenda item E, fund balance update. This is an information item being presented by Mr. Austin.
Fiscal year 21 was planned and coordinated on the impetus of COVID-19 and determining how we'll fare in a new environment economically, socially. This budget was something that we had to punt and reevaluate our entire process, strategic plan, and how we will coordinate funds to ensure we still maintained a healthy fund balance, educate our scholars, and kept our facilities safe. However, before I go into talking more about the fund balance, I want to talk about who we are. We're a school district with a vision, generate excellence, one team, one goal, with the mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. As we look at the business and finance department, we're dedicated to maximizing financial resources, enabling our students to attain their highest academic performance. It is our goal to sustain public trust and confidence in the school district through exercising sound financial practices and effective stewardship of funds. Our vision is to become the standard of excellence in financial reporting, business leadership, and stewardship. As we look at the general fund update, this is a report that we're required to submit to the Georgia Department of Education every year by September 30th. So it's an official document that shows what the fund balance will look like from the beginning to the end. The tone at the top of any organization determines the success and determines what we do. But I do believe that it's the buy-in from the body of leaders and the stakeholders that ensures the tone that is at the top is heard and that is properly set. And we have seen evidence of that. We began our fiscal year with a fund balance of $762,887.57, and we ended the fiscal year with a fund balance of $847,025.01, which is an increase of $84,137.44 for our general fund. As we look at all funds, all our federal programs, school-related programs, we look at the bottom of this report and we see that the total is $12,729,427.23 that we began with, and we ended with $12,909,331.19, which gave us a total increase of $179,903.96. So it is with confidence that we say that we have kept the promise of the mission and vision of the school district, the mission and vision of the school, of the business and finance department, and being great stewards of our funds and ensure that we're investing properly. This does not happen without the work of all department heads, all the community support that we've been receiving from you all as board members, all the way down to anyone that signs a piece of paper that's attached to an expenditure. So we are excited about the work that has been done in Twiggs County Public Schools as it relates to our fund balance. And then questions, comments, or concern about the fund balance at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Yes, sir.
Business agenda item F, FY23, FY24, school district. School district calendar. Information item being presented by Ms. Reardon. Good evening.
Good evening, Board Chair Harris, Vice
Good
Chair
evening.
Rouse, board members and stakeholders, and Dr. Mac Buller, Superintendent of Twiggs County Public Schools. Throughout this calendar development process, I believe that we have focused on being one team with one goal. And all decisions and plans have kept student achievement at the front of our planning and focused on our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. You have in front of you the development process. It had a goal of giving as many stakeholders as possible a voice. You can see all of the steps taken beginning in October and going until tonight. In the first rounds between November the 3rd and November 29th, we discussed with multiple stakeholder groups all of the processes that take place in developing a calendar and the fact that we are working with 180 days to plan for our students. 190 days have to be planned for most instructional staff. 226 days have to be planned for most admin staff and custodial and maintenance staff, all within the same calendar. Some of the suggestions that came about throughout this process were to add asynchronous days. So what is an asynchronous day? It's a term used to describe a learning environment that does not occur in the same place or the same time. Students have assignments or content that they view that is not being delivered in person or in real time. Another request or suggestion was to have fewer half days of school. We discussed the start day of school, what day is the first day of school in the year. Pre and post planning comments were given throughout this process. They asked that we keep our extended breaks and holidays, of course, and our breaks and assessments and grading periods be considered. So in front of you, you have, I put in your packet, up on the screen, we're going to have the two calendars. In front of you, you have a copy of the calendars so that you don't have to look at the little tiny ones. This year we're focusing, as I already discussed, our 2022-2023 calendar and a 2023-2024 calendar. In years past, we have had 2 calendar options that we would present, an A and a B option. As we've been moving through this process, what comes out at the end is that there's usually one calendar that makes a whole lot more sense than another calendar. So it's almost as if you're not getting a real choice. So instead of giving a choice, we looked at giving more voice in the process. So the calendar that we have developed in front of you has come from many meetings that you saw earlier on the previous slide, and revision after revision after revision based on the input during those meetings and surveys that were given. After we came to a consensus, these were the first calendars that were, the second calendars actually, that were developed. I want to walk you through what we are looking at with these 2 calendars. The red dates are the dates that the district offices are closed in both years. One of the things that we have to take into consideration when developing a calendar is you're looking at holidays, you're looking at what days we have assessments scheduled, such as milestones. We have to take into consideration the breaks, how they fall within the calendar, even the weekends themselves and the way they fall within a calendar month, just the way it lines up does change how a calendar looks. Some are easier to work with than others. The 2022-2023 calendar was much easier to work with than the 2023-2024 calendar. It was much easier to align. On the calendars that you are looking at, board, the red colored numbers at the end of each month are the number of instructional days within that month. We would like to have 180 instructional days. So when we add those up, that's what we should come up with. And then flanking those days with adding additional staff days to fulfill their 190-day contracts, and then flanking those with our support staff and our admin staff to make the 226-day calendar. You also see that in one calendar we have pre-planning starting in a little earlier in July than the other calendar. One calendar, there were some suggestions that we don't start on a Monday for the first day of school for students, and we were able to work that out in the 2022 calendar, but in the 2023 calendar, the dates just weren't falling well enough to make that work. As we move into September, what you are looking at are you see the first asynchronous day falling in the September calendar. There is a plan behind the asynchronous days. The asynchronous days that we include come after the end of a grading period. So on these calendars, we've also included the grading periods. Those have not been included before on the calendars that were presented to you. So this time we've included the grading periods. The asynchronous days come after a grading period, and they fall in the middle of the week rather than the end of the week. If they fall on a Friday, it tends to be a day that gets lost and turned into a 3-day weekend in many stakeholders' minds, in our students' minds, maybe even in our teachers' minds, and that's not what it's intended to be. It is intended to be an instructional day. So we made sure in the calendar that you have a day in front of your teacher prior to the asynchronous day, and then you go home the next day. That is an asynchronous day. It is an instructional day with the expectation that there is something to show for your day spent in an asynchronous learning environment. And the students come back to their teachers on the day after the asynchronous day so that we can follow through, we can hold everyone accountable for what took place that day. And if there were any issues, then we can work through those to be prepared for the next time we have an asynchronous day. Why do we need asynchronous days? We never know what's going to happen in front of us. We do not want to be caught like we were during the pandemic with our students and our staff not knowing what to do in a virtual learning environment. That's one reason why we want to have them. Another reason why we want to have them is we live in a digital world. Our students need to know how to work on the computers and work from a learning environment where they don't have a teacher standing in front of them every moment of the day, especially as they matriculate out of high school. The environment, they may go into a workplace environment that is virtual. Many of you have been in a virtual working environment. They may go to a virtual school environment as well. Many college classes at least have some component of a virtual learning setting. We want to make sure our students are prepared for that. We also have, Mr. Basley's been sharing with you the grants that we've received to have computers in the homes. These are not the same computers that we have in the schools. In the schools, we have one-to-one computers. Every child has a computer that they have access to on each day of school. These computers that Mr. Basley will be talking to you about again today are an additional set of computers that are at home with the hotspots at home with the data plans. In the event that a child still does not have access to the internet or to technology, because we have the day before an asynchronous day in front of their teachers, we will be able to print off packets and make sure they are placed in the students' hands and they can take home work to be doing on that same day as well. We're trying to cover all of our bases. It will be a learning process. That's why we want to make sure that we have contact with the students before they go home for an asynchronous day and immediately after that day as well. As you move through the two calendars, you see our fall breaks, you see our Thanksgiving break, our Christmas breaks. There are a couple of half days of school, but they are no longer spread within the instructional calendars. They are the last day before Christmas and the last day of school. We come back in January, then we have a couple of holidays in January, and then moving into February, you will see that one year has a 4-day weekend, and the next year has only a 3-day weekend, where we used to have a winter break, and that is simply because of the way the calendars fall and the ability to put the number of, the proper number of days within our August through May calendar. Then there were quite a number of debates over spring break in all of the meetings that we've had with the stakeholders and indicated in the surveys, and to try to meet everybody's desires and wishes. What we have before us, with the thing that drives this decision more than anything, is the fact that the milestones assessments come immediately after spring break, and we want to make sure that we have enough time to prepare and bring everybody back together. So one year it's at the end of March, and the next year it's at the beginning of April, and the next year it's at the beginning of March. And then we move to the end of school in May. With our teachers, it is imperative that our teachers' last day be in May and not flowing into June, and because this impacts retirement. And then you see our June calendar has the district offices closed on Fridays. The 226-day employees that are working in the month of June will work 10-hour days to make up the difference for the district offices being closed on the Fridays. You also see on the calendars where it has the board meeting dates. And we realize that the board meeting dates are set by you, the board. They are voted on by you, the board. They have not been voted on, it says, to be determined. They were placed on here just as a point of reference in our planning for the calendar, so that we can keep in mind what are we working around and what do we need to be considerate of as we are planning the calendar. So then these calendars went back to all of the staff. We met again with the teachers in both of the schools and other stakeholders to get additional input. A few other changes were made, and then another survey was given out after those changes were made to determine whether or not they approve of the calendars as presented, which are the two calendars you have in front of you, and whether or not they disapprove. If they did not approve, then we were asking for suggestions. And you see that out of the 50 responses that we had received, there was a 96 approval rate on the 2022-2023 school year calendar with no input as far as to make changes. On the 2023-2024 calendar, it was an 89.8% approval rate, and I'd already told you it was a much more difficult calendar to work with and to create, so we expected there to be not as high of an approval rate. And there were only 2 requests that were made in the survey, and those had to do with changes that just could not be made with considering all of the things that we have to fulfill. So what are our next steps in this approval process? We will listen for additional feedback from you, the board, and other stakeholders. We will bring this back to the board for approval in January. After this process is approved, the calendars would then be published. And then next year, when we go back through this calendar development process again, that year we will be only considering the 2024-2025 school year calendar because we will have already approved 2 years in advance. So that keeps us 2 years out planning for a calendar each year. At some point, we had to do 2 years at the same time, and this is the year that we tried to do that. Are there any questions? This is an information item.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Print that a little bit bigger.
That's why I gave you copies that are this size in your board
I
packet.
couldn't read it to find out what it meant.
I knew there was no way you were going to see it that small in your packet.
Boy. That one there, that calendar there, small. I know that now. You just told me. We're on film, buddy.
The calendar does have a little bit different look to it than what we have had in the past as well.
Well, I know I couldn't read that little one. I tried. It didn't work.
Ms. Reardon,
Yes, sir.
the effect on teacher retirement for the May and June, can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes, sir.
How does it affect teacher retirement, as in ending the calendar year in May versus ending it flowing over to June?
When they go into working in June, they can't have their retirement check and their paycheck coming at the same time. So that if we end it in May, then they are able to receive both checks
Okay.
for June and July.
So specific to retired teachers?
It
or
is for
teachers that-
retirement,
Gotcha.
which we will all eventually be there, so it may not apply to, it may not apply to you this year, but one day you're gonna hope somebody is looking out for you in the same way.
Got you. I understand. And this is something that has been up in the past, the issue?
It's something that most school districts try to work with to make sure that their retiring teachers have this opportunity to have those 2 checks coming in at the same time.
Gotcha.
You've worked hard for it. You deserve it.
Let's look at the January the winter break, the December through January.
Which year?
2022. 2023. So the winter break is December 19th through December 30th.
Yes, sir.
We will return back before the new year because it's on the weekend.
No, sir, the teachers return back on January the 3rd,
Okay.
and the students return on January the 4th.
Got it.
The federal holiday is Monday the 2nd. I think what you're seeing down at the bottom where it says on the side where it's written in winter break December 19th through 30th, that's just because it was on that side of the calendar. And then up at the top, it says again, winter break January 2nd.
Let's see. All right, how do you feel about the 2 years in advance? Or the year in advance for the next
It was a
calendar?
challenge, but I think it was something that we all, many people have discussed that throughout the few years that I've been working on calendar development. To have 2 years in advance, it helps us as a district to plan. And as we roll into the next year, everything's already approved. We're not having to wait on approval in case something comes up and that gets delayed for planning for the next school year. So at the end of 2022, 2023 school year, there won't be any delay in putting things in motion for the 2023, 2024 school year because it's already approved. And by the time we get to the end of the 2024, the 2024, 2025, y'all, this is a lot harder to say than you think it is difficult. It would already be approved as well. So this puts us able to plan 2 years out for everything that we're doing.
So when you say approved, what instances would be approved, pre-approved, other than dates, as far as what days we're in school, what days we're out?
We can't set things such as an infinite campus and looking at those things. We can't set those dates without having the calendar approved by you.
So this would expedite district requests?
It could. But also, once it's approved, doesn't mean we can't come back and revise. So if things change between now, I mean, it is 2 years out, so if things change or things look like that's not working for us as we get through the 2022, 2023 school year, we can always revisit it and then come back, and then it would be date stamped as approved, and then it'd be a later date than sometime in January of 2022. It may have a June of 2022 approval date on that particular calendar if we needed to revise it.
Okay. Any other questions for Ms. Reardon? We'll take a deep dive into it a little later.
Please do.
This week, we'll submit our questions to Dr. Bullard. From the glance of it, it looks good. It's a lot for the board to digest at first hearing, but thank you so much for a thorough presentation, as we know what we have options to do now, and that year in advance may be a good idea. But we'll further discuss. Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, our next business agenda item is business agenda item G. This is CARES 2 budget. This is an action item being presented by Ms. Reardon.
Yes, thank you again, Board Chair Harris, Vice Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, and stakeholders. Tonight, I'm presenting to you again the CARES 2 budget for approval tonight. This CARES 2 budget has truly represented our vision of being one team with one goal, and we have strived for excellence by focusing on our students, staff, and community through focusing on our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. As a reminder, the CARES 2 budget is $1,636,623, and it covers the areas of student learning support, parent engagement and support, health services, technology, curriculum supplies and assessment, district leader and teacher development, and retention supplements. For our student learning support, that is 43% of the budget at $711,250, providing for, and this is not an all-inclusive list, this is an example of what is going into this budget. After-school tutoring, tutoring and intervention support during school through programs such as Read United, summer school, staff that are hired by shifting them to this relieves the general fund. Instructional programs, some examples are Scholastic Pro, MobiMax, USA Test Prep, Right Score, Edgenuity. 17% of the budget is for retention supplements in the amount of $286,000. For $2,000 supplements for all staff for continuity of care, retention of staff, and for the efforts throughout the pandemic serving students in less than ideal situations, and the added stress to support students in an ever-changing environment where significant additional effort is required for our teachers to provide the basics at times. This provides 12% of the budget for technology in the amount of $192,373. This includes insurance for Chromebooks, hotspots, and other devices. It also includes data plans for hotspots, and this is until we are able to have other grants covering these hotspots. It also includes 8% of the budget for curriculum, supplies, and assessment in the amount of $134,849 for programs such as iReady, for high-quality, valid, and reliable assessments, for coach books, for student school supplies, digital music curriculum, art supplies for our art program, to name a few. It also includes district and staff development, $58,000, 4% of the budget for district development, which includes the entire district. Another $45,000 specifically for leader development, that is 3%, which can also include teachers in that amount. And then finally, teacher development, 1% of the budget, that is $25,000, where teachers may be impacted by all three of these categories. Next is health services in the amount of 6%, $91,151, paying for an additional school nurse, expanded nursing facilities, additional medical equipment, additional nursing supplies, to name a few. 5% of the budget is for facility repairs, improvements, and improved air quality, $83,000. This covers things such as improved filtration systems to mitigate the virus spread, HVAC upgrades due to mold. This was presented earlier tonight by Mr. Bacon. Cleaning of facilities, sprayers and solutions for maintaining a safe environment, air quality consultant and inspection, PPE, and again, talking about mold mitigation that was presented by Mr. Bacon. And 1% of this budget goes towards family engagement, which is $10,000 for programs to provide information to parents on how to effectively support students during a pandemic and through virtual learning. Support for parents in providing academic support to students who are at risk. So tonight, I am seeking approval of the CARES 2 budget in the amount of $1,636,623. And I want to make sure that it is stated that this includes the HVAC upgrades due to mold with mold mitigation in the amount of $40,000. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Reardon. Ms. Reardon, just our first glance, what is the total budget for family engagement from all funding sources?
The total for all funding sources is going to be a little bit over, with this 10,000 plus what we have in the Title I budget, not including the salaries for our family engagement person, is approximately, that would be $20,000.
Chair. Question is written on the retention supplements. I know we said full-time, part-time employees. Does that include the substitutes?
That includes our long-term subs.
Long-term subs? On another question.
Yes, sir.
On the technology, I see where it says insurance of Chromebooks, hotspots, and other devices. And I also know that Mr. Basley is buying some hotspots with the grant that he received. Does this affect that any kind of way?
This is insurance
offsetting
to
the money?
cover those items as well. This is insurance to cover all technology that we have within the district. So the Chromebooks that we've purchased in the past, the computers that the teachers utilize, keyboards, those sorts of things.
Mr. Ribbon.
Yes, sir.
On the health services, where you say additional nurse, an expanded nurse facility and all that, does that include the nurse salary pay or whatever?
The additional nurse that we're talking
Yes,
about here,
right.
that would be for the remainder of this school year. Yes, sir.
Just remaining this school year?
Yes, sir, because at the moment, we do not have an additional nurse. It is a new position that we would be hiring.
I guess my next question is, even if it's for the rest of the school year, are we hiring a LPN or RN, or what kind of nurse are we gonna hire? If you're gonna spend something for the expanding nursing facility and additional medical equipment and additional nursing supplies, with all that coming out there and the pay, I'm just saying, what kind of nurse are we looking at, LPN or RN?
We would be looking somewhere in the range of either an LPN or an RN, and it may not be a full-time person.
Thank you.
Ms. Reardon, let me back up to my question. I want to make sure I have clarification. The question that I asked, did you tell me it was $20,000 from Title I?
No, sir, you wanted to know what are the total for it, so that it is less than $20,000, and it is, total is going to be less than $20,000. This 10 plus what we have in Title I. But we would be having less than that. That includes anything that we would be doing for parents talking about a parent university, a curriculum that we may do for our parents, newsletters that are going home, some things that we're required to do for our parents, and that is included in those. And you're asking me to tell you what that is off the top of my head,
no,
and so that's why
no,
I'm
no,
saying,
you're
I'm
fine.
trying to give you a high figure,
Your
but I'm
ballpark
telling
is
you, I know
perfect.
it's lower.
No, you're fine. Thank you. Good conversation.
I will say, Mr. Harris, you were asking about this with the parent engagement. There are requirements within the CARES 2 budget, the ARP budget. There are requirements that we must meet when it comes to things to do for our students. We have to set aside a certain amount of money that's going to take care of those parents and the children, and that's included in this.
Got you. Thank you. We good on this end? All right. Good.
Thank you.
I think we've exhausted our questions for the night, Ms. Miriam. Good conversation. So
I'm
thank
here
you.
for you.
Thank you, Ms. Reardon. Thank you. All right, so, well.
I just want to say, at the next meeting, I want to get a copy of our CARES 1 budget, what we're doing with that. So we can have both. I want just one.
Board members, this item is listed on our agenda, our approved agenda tonight as an action item. Are you comfortable to move on it? Stokes, you okay?
Yeah.
How you feel about it? Facts. Boy, we've heard Ms. Reardon's presentation for tonight. Superintendent, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair and board members, my recommendation is that the board approve the CARES 2 budget and allocations as presented.
Board members, we've heard our superintendent's recommendation. What do I hear?
I'll make that motion.
Motion been properly made to accept the superintendent's recommendation to receive the CARES 2 budget. May I have a second? I can. I second that motion.
Thank you.
All in favor, I know you by saying aye or raising your hand. Any opposes?
Just need a little more time to look at it, but I said I just need a little more time to digest, but I'm all in favor.
You vote in favor. 4. Any opposes? No opposes. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you again, Ms. Reardon. Business agenda item H, Emergency Connectivity Fund Grant. This is an action item being presented by our technology specialist and director, Mr. Trevante Basley. Good evening, Mr. Basley.
Good evening, Board Chair Harris,
Proceed,
Vice
sir.
Chair Rouse, board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents. I want to first tell you what we are. We're a district with a vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal, and we have a mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. Really quickly, we have talked about the ECF funding. I want to just give you a few highlights as I seek approval for expending these funds. The ECF is designed to combat a homework gap with internet access and computers for students and staff within the home. We have been awarded $291,950 for the district. With these funds, we plan to purchase 500 hotspots with service and 500 Dell Chromebooks. The inventory for this equipment is already on hold for our vendors, so once we get the purchase order to be approved, we can go ahead and get those in-house. One thing I want to highlight with the ECF is this is strictly for the homes. This is not for in the district itself. This is to help students and staff with internet access and Chromebooks at home. Do you have any questions?
Will there be a penalty? Would there be a penalty for them not turning the books back in after at the end of the school term?
We are still formulating those documents to ensure that all of our parents and stakeholders know exactly what the expectations are, so we'll have that for you once those go out as well.
Okay.
You have them for us prior to them going out?
Yes, sir. So that's also part of the insurance and stuff that Ms. Reardon just spoke to as well. So there's going to be minimal, if any, that's going to be for the parents, but we just wanted everybody to know the expectations ahead of time.
Board members, do we have any more questions? Seeing none. Dr. Bullock, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair and board members, I recommend that the board approve the ECF funding as designated by Mr. Trevante Basley's presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Board, we've heard the presentation from Mr. Bass, and we've heard the superintendent's recommendation. May I have a motion to accept the ECG as an action item tonight that we approve these funds?
I make that motion.
Motion is properly made by Vice Chair Rouse. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. King. Any discussion? No discussion. I do by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We're about to have the fastest speeding multi-purpose device district in this area, Dr. Bullock.
Yes.
All right. All right, business agenda item I. This is Realty Works purchase order approval, being action item. It says order approval.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Board Chairman Harris, board members,
Proceed.
Superintendent Dr. Mac Bullard. I would like to present to you tonight the Reality Works purchase order approval request. We'll begin with our vision and our mission. The vision of Twist County Public Schools is generating excellence, one team, one goal. Our mission is to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. In doing so, tomorrow morning, we will host a Bringing Back the 400 CTAE dual enrollment. It's going to be a career and college fair at the high school from 10 to 12. And then we're going to meet with our presenters afterwards from 12 to 1. Students will have an opportunity to meet with potential colleges, potential employers, and we're also going to do everything we can to revamp the CTAE programs offered through Central Georgia Tech here at Twist County Public Schools. Under the ESSER3 grant, we were approved for, and tonight I'm asking that we use funds to purchase equipment for our plant and landscape pathway. This will help our students to have a greater understanding of and a larger skill set in the areas of gardening, food production, and landscaping. It'll prepare students to pass end of pathway assessments and to ensure they earn industry credentials. Before you see the purchase order, it's purchase order number 109971, totaling $42,009.90. Tonight, I'm going to highlight some of the items that we will purchase under that, in that purchase order. For the animal systems pathway, our goal is to expose students to the career opportunities that are available through the animal sciences. The models that you see outlined here, these are life-size models. The picture here, they're smaller, but I wanted to show some pictures next to actual humans so that you can see the size of these pieces. And it'll give students an opportunity to get some real hands-on experience and to learn through these activities. Next, we have the hydroponics pathway. This is a form of gardening that does not require soil, so our students will be able to learn how to plant and produce produce using just water and natural ingredients. The next piece you'll see is the plant systems pathway. These are models, and it's going to help students to understand the parts of the plant and also how that will relate to their growth. We have the greenhouse insects. These are live models, or not live models, life-size models, excuse me, of different insects that students will encounter while working in the greenhouse. And then we have the butcher beef cuts models. What this is going to help us do is just define the major compartments of the animal industry, and it's going to outline for our students that development and also what careers are available outside and beyond the pathway. It is with that in mind that I am requesting the board to approve our purchase order through the vendor Reality Works for a total of $42,009.90, and it will be funded using the CRE-SSER 3 ARP equipment grant. Are there any questions?
we partnering with the one that Terrell and Cheney works with? Is she kind of still helping us?
Yes, Ms. Cheney was very instrumental in us actually receiving the grant. Part of the application, we had to have business and industry to speak on behalf of our program. So yes, ma'am, very much so.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Dr. Bullard, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair, board members, my recommendation is that you approve the Reality Works purchase order in the amount of $42,009.90 and all of the items that were in the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Board members, we've heard the presentation and information and tonight in action. The Reality Works purchase order approved, and we've heard our superintendent's recommendation for purchase. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion has been properly made by Ms. Blacksher. May we have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you. Business agenda item J. This is district request action item being presented by our superintendent, Dr. Mac Bullard.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and board members,
Proceed.
we do have one facility request on tonight, and that is being made by County Commissioner Lonnie Ford on this following week, Tuesday, December the 21st. They've asked to utilize the Twiggs County High School bus ramp and the JES parking lot to stage a community and county mobile food drive. So they'd like to utilize those areas for easy staging and easy drive-in and pickup of food through the different partners that the county is going to use to make sure our community members who are in need of food can pick that up on the 21st of December, which is on a Tuesday. We have two fundraiser requests. One of the fundraiser requests is from the boys varsity basketball team. They want to sell meat sticks through May 2022, which is Sunday, May the 15th. And they want to sell those meat sticks to gather funds to purchase additional equipment for the boys' basketball team. And Miss Arlena Floyd would like to sell Read Across America t-shirts from now through January the 26th, 2022 at JES in order to purchase additional books for the JES library. These are the district requests that we ask your approval for on tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Board members, I will take these individually. I will take the facility and property requests. I will take the fundraisers, and then I'll take the field trips. Dr. Bullard, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chair and board members, it is my recommendation that you approve the district request for facility use of the Twiggs County High School bus ramp area and the JES parking lot for the Twiggs County Mobile Food Pantry.
Board members, we've heard the superintendent's recommendation. This first motion that I'll ask for is for the facility property request for persons Commissioner Lonnie Ford, Twiggs County Mobile Food Pantry. What do I hear?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been properly made by Ms. Stokes. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raising your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. The second recommendation, fundraisers, Twiggs County High School varsity boys basketball and JES Media Center. I'll take both of these fundraisers at once. We've heard the superintendent's recommendation. What do I hear for fundraisers?
So moved.
Motion's been properly made to accept the superintendent's recommendation for district fundraisers by Ms. King. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Blackshear. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raising your hand or you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, board members.
Finally, field trips. Tweeds County Middle School Star Base. We've heard the superintendent's recommendation for approval of field trip. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion been properly made by Ms. Blackshear. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. King. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye. Raise your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Dr. Bullard, after your presentations tonight and your recommendations, is there any further discussion or have I omitted anything on our printed agenda or approved agenda for tonight's meeting?
No, you have not omitted any item on our approved agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. Board members, we have exhausted our business agenda for board meeting December 14, 2021. Have we exhausted all of our items or have I omitted anything in tonight's meeting?
No, you haven't.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Seeing no further discussion, may I ask for a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Motion's been properly made by District 3, Ms. Rhonda King. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by District 1, Vice Chair, Mr. Mike Rouse. Any further discussion? No discussion. I know by saying aye or raising your hand if you approve this motion to enter into executive session. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Good evening again, Twiggs County. Thank you for your attention to our business meeting on tonight, our last board meeting of this year. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to exit executive session and enter into our public session.
I will make that motion.
Motion's been properly made by Ms. Stokes. May I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Blackshear. Any discussion? No discussion. I know by saying aye, raising your hand if you approve this motion. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Dr. Bullard, and thank you, Board, for a productive executive session. There are no personnel or legal matters to move on tonight. At this time, I ask for a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been properly made by Ms. Stokes. May I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Rouse. Any discussion? No discussion. I know you by saying aye, raising your hand. Aye. Any opposers? No opposers. That motion carries unanimously. Have a safe and happy holidays, everyone. Thank you for what you do for Tweeds. Good night.